According to reports by many Nigerian newspapers, the Vanguard, Daily Post and others, of course Daily Post quoted Vanguard newspapers, they are saying that Goodluck Jonathan is now ready to contest for president in 2027, that he is currently meeting northern leaders to finalize alliance discussions before declaring his intention to run in 2027. And when people say northern leaders, it cuts across party lines. Also, Goodluck Jonathan has his eligibility issues to deal with. We will come back to that in a moment. Remember in 2022, people very close to Buhari nearly pushed Goodluck Jonathan to run in 2023 just because they didn't like Tinubu. So when they say northern leaders, it actually cuts across party lines. These people are just interested in power and they want a very quick access to that. That's why they are rooting for Goodluck Jonathan. Not about good governance, not about anything. It's just to make the southern run very quick so that power can quickly return to the north. And as Jerry Ghana hinted in an interview a few days ago, the mandate he was given by PDP was to go and lobby P2B to come back to PDP. In a situation where that fails, he also hinted that they have other candidates, other people they will approach to come and run under PDP. And if Goodluck Jonathan has truly decided to run, that means it will be an automatic ticket for him, just like it would have been an automatic ticket for P2B. How the mighty has fallen. The once touted biggest party in Africa has now been reduced to begging candidates to come and run under them for free of charge. They are no longer talking about transactional politics. Yes, PDP will never work for anyone for free. In fact, their members leave off anyone that wins presidential ticket in their party. So this time around that they are now begging candidates to come and join their party, it means they are ready to work for that person for free on the person's terms. But instead of doing this, instead of reducing themselves this low, they should just humble themselves and support any candidate that emerges in the opposition. No matter the party the person emerges from, they should just support that person. Despite all the news we hear every day, no day will pass by you will not hear a PDP member, whether a senator or House of Rep member or anyone, even governors, decamping to APC. Despite all that, PDP is still one of the biggest opposition parties, going by the number of governors they have, yes. So what they should have done, that's taking lead in the opposition against the APC, they didn't do that because of all the infighting. And Wike, who is not clear if he's still a member of PDP because he's been serving an APC administration. This is very strange in Nigeria. How can someone who is serving the APC administration, he has been minister of the FCT under Tinubu since inception, how can the same man still be controlling PDP? So they should wake up to their responsibilities. The job they were supposed to do, that's taking the lead in the opposition, leading other political parties to challenge APC, they haven't done that. Since other heavyweight politicians have taken the lead, formed a coalition under ADC, they should just observe if a very popular candidate emerges under the ADC or even Labour Party, any other party for that matter, they should just support that person since they are willing to work for any candidate for free. So there should be nothing in it for them. They should not be negotiating anything with any popular candidate unless they don't want to fight APC, unless they want APC to continue in power in 2027. Now, to whether the former president Goodluck Jonathan is eligible to run for president in 2027 or to serve another presidential term. It's very important to discuss this because you know how Nigerian judiciary works. They are never consistent. It's very difficult to predict the outcome of a litigation in Nigeria today simply because they are not consistent. Despite the fact that the law is written in plain English and is very easy to understand, but they will always find ways to twist it and bend it in order to arrive at whatever they want. So these are the issues. Prior to 2015 presidential election, one man took Goodluck Jonathan to court in Abuja, the Abuja High Court, challenging his eligibility to run for president. The law he cited was the section of the Constitution that says that no one in any executive office, whether a governor, local government chairman or a president, can take the oath of office more than 2 times. Yes, it's there in the Constitution. The man challenged it. Instead of the judge to decide on this very important constitutional matter, he threw it away, saying the man had no local standard to challenge Goodluck Jonathan's eligibility to contest the 2015 presidential election. Not deterred by the ruling, the man went on appeal. The appeal court justices literally rewrote the constitution. Yes, the constitution already imposed a hard limit, saying that no person holding an executive position can take the oath of office more than 2 times. Instead of abiding by that, they gave it their own interpretation, saying that the first oath of office that Goodluck Jonathan took in May 2010 after the demise of Yar'Adua was merely to complete the term of Yar'Adua. That he wasn't elected, they said a lot of things. It must be known, no president in Nigeria is elected alone. You must have a running mate. That's what the constitution says. If you don't run with a running mate, you will not be eligible to run. So saying that Goodluck Jonathan wasn't elected in 2010 when he took that oath is a bit strange, because it's a 2-man rule system we are operating in Nigeria. If not, why do we have a vice president? Yes, power moves between the president and the vice president. If the president is not disposed or is going into a long-term medical checkup where he will not be able to attend to state matters, he is obligated by the constitution to hand over to the vice president. And this time the vice president is taking power, he's not supposed to take oath of office in order to assume that power, because he will be operating in an acting capacity. Yes, it's assumed that the oath of office he took when he became the vice president covers the acting capacity. That's why he doesn't need to take that oath again. But when the president is no more, like it happened under Yar'Adua, the vice president now automatically becomes the substantive president. Yes, so he will need to take oath of office as the president. The other one he took was the oath as the vice president of the country. So it is a 2-man rule. If it's not, why do we have a vice president like already said? And in countries where they don't have a vice president, if anything happens to the president, they will conduct an election in 3 months to replace the president. This also happens in Nigeria because it is a 2-man rule. If anything happens to the president and the vice president at the same time, power will move to the Senate president, the 3rd man in line. But because he wasn't elected as a president, he won't serve out their term, he wasn't part of them. He will just hold that power for 3 months. Under that 3 months, a new presidential election must be conducted. So you can see the intention of the drafters of the 1999 Constitution. It's very strange for a judge to say that Goodluck Jonathan completed Yar'Adua's term when it is obviously their term. Going by that logic, why should a president hand over to a vice president if he's not part of the term? Yes, he can as well keep that power alone to himself. But the Constitution obligates him to hand over power to the VP whenever he's not disposed. So Goodluck Jonathan and his political allies banked on this judgment when he was considering joining the 2023 presidential race. They were thinking maybe another person will come up and start challenging Goodluck Jonathan's eligibility in court. So armed with this judgment, which was never appealed to the Supreme Court, they felt Goodluck Jonathan is now home and dry to run for any presidential election. Now there's another hurdle for Goodluck Jonathan that prevents him from serving another presidential term. It was signed into law by Muhammadu Buhari in 2018, and this has never been challenged in court. In 2022, his political allies were hoping that if anyone challenges Goodluck Jonathan in court based on that law, that they will simply claim that it should not apply to Goodluck Jonathan because the law came into effect after his time. That it should apply to people after the law has been passed. That's the likes of Ondo State Governor, who took an oath of office after the governor passed, also eventually contested for governor and won, so that law will catch up with him. He cannot take oath of office more than 2 times. The law specifically says that the person that have taken oath of office and completed the governor's term or the president's term cannot serve more than 1 term in office. So the intention of the 2018 alteration law was to spell it out that the person will not be eligible to contest for 2 full terms after having completed the term that he was part of. Yes, although the Constitution already makes it very clear that no one can serve for more than 8 years in office. Even if you served 4 years and came back after 10 years or more to serve another term of governor or president, you cannot be in office for more than 8 years. And if you completed a term like Goodluck Jonathan did, he completed 1 year of their term and spent another 4 years in office, that makes it 5 years. That means if he serves another 4-year tenure as a president, he would have spent 9 years in office, which is against the Constitution. Yes, it violates that section that says that no one should serve more than 8 years in power. That's 2 terms of 4 years each. So under normal circumstances, this alteration law that Muhammadu Buhari signed into law in 2018 is not actually needed. But maybe the reason why they made this law was to stop Goodluck Jonathan, because remember, it was signed into law in 2018, a year before another presidential election that held in 2019. So maybe it was even targeted at him to stop him from running in 2019. Not that alone, they might have made this law because of the ruling of the judges on the eligibility of Goodluck Jonathan to serve another presidential term. It doesn't make any sense, like already said. If the constitution already imposes a hard limit of 8 years, you can't by any way bypass that. It should be sacrosanct. But going by the judgment of the appeal court, it means that they have bypassed that, allowing someone to stay in office for 9 years instead of the 8 years stipulated by the constitution. Also, going by oath of office, the constitution says the person cannot take it more than 2 times. If he has taken it once, there's nothing like saying he completed someone's term or was an oath taken or not. That should be the question. So it's very important for Goodluck Jonathan and his political allies, in case he has truly decided to run but is yet to make it public, is yet to call a press conference to tell Nigerians that he's preparing to run in 2027. So people will challenge him based on this law if he decides to run, and going by how the judges decide cases these days, you already know what will happen. Thanks for watching.